Welcome to Starwatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. One post, one man, and a tidal wave that shook every corner of the internet. Xiao Zhan, the name that once defined a generation of C-pop, has just broken his silence with a single message. And what followed wasn't just trending hashtags or viral shares. It was a movement, a message, a milestone. This is not just a post. This is the beginning of something greater. Welcome to a new era. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. There were no countdowns, no media leaks, no hashtags pushed by PR teams. But when Xiao Zhan quietly returned to social media with his first personal message in months, the world responded with a level of intensity that no marketing campaign could have orchestrated. In a single post, he reminded millions of something we too often forget in the chaos of online fame. Authenticity speaks loudest when it's quiet. The message itself was simple, even understated. A short caption, a thoughtful tone, a portrait of him, unguarded, still, and calm. There was no announcement, no mention of new projects, and no dramatic storytelling. And yet, within moments, the post began to ripple across digital borders. Fans from Seoul to Los Angeles, Paris to Jakarta, paused whatever they were doing to take in a few words that felt profoundly personal. For many, it was like receiving a message from someone they hadn't realized they missed so deeply. What made the post extraordinary wasn't just the numbers, though they were staggering. Within minutes, engagement figures surpassed benchmarks set by top-tier global influencers. But this wasn't about statistics. This was about connection. Xiao Zhan's presence on screen had always carried emotional weight, but this time it felt even more intimate, like he was inviting his followers not to look at him, but to see him. It's rare for a public figure to return not with spectacle, but with softness. And perhaps that's exactly why it worked. The sincerity of the moment cut through the noise of social media. In a digital world addicted to drama and constant updates, here was someone choosing stillness and being heard louder than ever. For longtime fans, it felt like healing. For casual observers, it was a reminder that presence can be more powerful than performance. Xiao Zhan didn't announce his return. He simply arrived. And in doing so, he reminded millions of the quiet magic that made them fall in love with him in the first place. The moment Xiao Zhan's post went live, something subtle yet undeniable began to unfold. What started as a quiet digital presence became a global tremor, not because it was promoted, but because it was felt. Across time zones and languages, his simple message triggered a wave of emotion that few artists in the world can provoke. This wasn't just a viral moment. It was a shared pause, a collective intake of breath that connected people from vastly different cultures in a single, unspoken understanding. In South Korea, trending topics shifted within minutes. In Japan, fan communities mobilized translation efforts almost instantly, ensuring that his words reached every heart that needed to hear them. In France, online forums dissected the tone of the message with thoughtful reflection, noting how rare it is to witness vulnerability delivered with such grace. In the United States and Canada, fans who had once moved on from the C-pop scene found themselves drawn back in, not by nostalgia alone, but by something more powerful, relevance reborn in authenticity. The post began to move like a wave, not the explosive kind, but the steady, swelling tide that refuses to go unnoticed. In Southeast Asia, live streams lit up. In Europe, artists and writers began referencing his words in their own work. There was something universal in the quietness of Xiao Zhan's message, a reminder of the human need for connection in a time where most content is designed to distract. And yet, through all of this, there was no noise, no marketing team pushing the momentum. The energy came from people, real people, who felt seen, comforted, and reminded that artistry can still be about emotion, not algorithm. Xiao Zhan's post reminded the world that silence is not absence. Stillness is not weakness. And when the right voice speaks at the right moment, even a whisper can echo across continents. What we witnessed was more than fan excitement. It was cultural resonance. It was a moment where art, timing, and truth aligned. And in that rare alignment, Xiao Zhan didn't just trend. He transcended. In the age of viral fame, numbers often speak louder than meaning. Yet, what Xiao Zhan stirred with a single post was something far more profound than metrics or trends. It was emotion, real and undiluted. Beyond the millions of likes and shares, beyond the global reach and media coverage, his quiet reemergence touched something deeply personal in the hearts of those who saw it. It wasn't just a post. It was a moment of emotional truth. For many, especially longtime followers, this return felt like closure and renewal intertwined. It reached into a part of them that had quietly held space through his absence. Not out of obligation, but out of memory, out of care. It's not often that a public figure's silence becomes part of their narrative. Yet in Xiao Zhan's case, his stillness over time had become a kind of conversation in itself. His reappearance was not dramatic, but it was undeniably moving. There was no performance in his words, no forced optimism, only presence. And sometimes, presence is everything. Fans across different countries described feeling unexpectedly emotional. Some moved to tears, others struck by a stillness they couldn't explain. In a world that demands constant output from public figures, his message served as a quiet refusal to be rushed, a choice to speak only when it truly mattered. That intentionality resonated, felt human, and perhaps more importantly, it felt rare. What makes Xiao Zhan's return so compelling is not just his celebrity, but his restraint. It's in the way he lets the world come to him, rather than pushing himself into it. He trusts his audience to feel rather than be told what to feel. That kind of connection isn't built overnight. It's earned, often in silence, often without applause. This wasn't the noise of a comeback. It was the return of something more meaningful, a presence that never relied on spectacle, a reminder that in a world of rapid-fire content and manufactured emotion, authenticity still has the power to stop people in their tracks. What Xiao Zhan gave the world wasn't just an update. It was a feeling. And for millions, that feeling was more powerful than any headline ever could be. Was Xiao Zhan's post a carefully orchestrated strategy or a serendipitous expression of timing and emotion? That question has rippled through media outlets and fan circles alike. Yet perhaps the real power of this moment lies in the fact that it resists clear definition. In a landscape where celebrity movements are often calculated to the second and crafted with corporate precision, Xiao Zhan's quiet return felt disarmingly genuine. Too honest to be purely strategic, too perfectly timed to be accidental. It is this tension between planning and purity that fascinates so many. If it was strategy, it was one of remarkable restraint, a masterclass in patience and emotional intelligence. Rather than flooding timelines with content or launching a grand campaign, he chose a path few dare to follow. Silence followed by sincerity. There was no teaser, no countdown, no PR buildup. Just a message, released into the world with calm intention. And perhaps that, in itself, is the brilliance. In an age where noise competes with noise, Xiao Zhan created resonance through quiet clarity. But what if it wasn't planned? What if it truly was a spontaneous gesture, an honest need to speak, not to trend? That possibility holds its own kind of magic. It suggests that even within the rigid structures of entertainment, there's still room for unpredictability, for moments that belong not to marketing teams but to individuals. It reminds us that the most impactful messages are sometimes born from deeply personal spaces, not carefully measured calendars. Whether by design or by impulse, the result remains the same. A ripple that turned into a wave, not because it asked to, but because it touched something universal. Audiences didn't react to a campaign. They responded to a feeling. And that feeling came from trust. Trust in a voice that has never rushed to be heard. Trust in a presence that chooses depth over display. So perhaps the answer isn't strategy or serendipity. Perhaps it's a rare fusion of both. Intuition guided by experience, timing aligned with truth. Xiao Zhan's post didn't follow a formula. Followed a feeling. And that is something no algorithm can replicate, no press release can predict. Simply human. And in today's world, that's a story worth listening to. So, what's next? A new studio photo shoot has been spotted, allegedly tied to a global fashion house. Several high-profile directors have been seen quietly following him again on social media. Fans speculate this marks the beginning of a reconnection era, not just between Xiao Zhan and his fans, but between emotion and artistry, East and West, past and future. It's no longer about trending. It's about transcending. One post, that's all it took. But it reminded millions why they followed Xiao Zhan in the first place. Not because he's loud, but because he's authentic. Not because he chased the spotlight, but because he radiated from within. This is not just the return of a star. This is the return of a voice. One that quietly reminds us, real connection never fades. It waits. And when it returns, the world listens. If you felt something from this story, a sense of nostalgia, a spark of hope, or just pure curiosity, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us here at Starwatch now. We bring you the deeper stories, the global impact, and the emotional truths behind your favorite stars, without the noise. Speech balloon, drop us a comment below. What did Xiao Zhan's post mean to you? Follow for more stories that move the world. Thanks for watching, and remember, stars shine brightest after the silence.